to Hot Girls Eat Carbs. I'm your host, Brittany McChrystal, and I am so happy you've pressed play today. If you're out walking, lying in bed scrolling, driving home from the gym, or just trying to keep it together while folding laundry or doing dishes, this one is for you. So take a second, breathe, and let's reset. Let's come back to your why. Because today we're diving into something that's been sitting heavy for a lot of us. We're talking about confidence, body image, and learning how to love your body before it's where you want it to be. And hun, it goes so much deeper than just weight loss. It's about identity, about self-respect, and about that inner peace we're all chasing. I used to believe that confidence would magically appear the moment that I lost weight. That once I saw a smaller number on the scale, once I fit into smaller clothes, or once I got lean enough, I'd suddenly feel hot, worthy, or unstoppable. Like people would finally see me. Like I'd finally be enough. And I know that I'm not the only one because I hear it from you girls all the time. I'll feel good once I'm smaller. I'll wear the shorts when I'm more toned. I'll take the photo when I've lost 5 more kilos. But what if I told you that confidence doesn't come after the transformation? It's something you have to build during it. Because here's the truth that no one tells you. And I want to share a really personal story about this. There was a time where I became completely fixated on the number. I was obsessed with getting to my lowest weight because I thought once I hit that magic number, I would finally feel confident. I was chasing this perfect image I had in my head. I was thinking smaller meant happier. And once I was tiny, I'd love my body. And I'd love myself. And I got there. I hit that lowest weight. And I got down to the size 6 I was hoping for. But instead of feeling proud or confident or free, I felt the exact opposite. The smaller I got, the more that I hated my body. I was constantly picking myself apart. I was obsessing over every little thing. My stomach, my thighs, my arms. Nothing ever looked good enough. And I remember standing in a changing room, trying on clothes that technically fit me. Tiny little clothes that once felt so far away. And I just cried. I broke down, right there, looking at my reflection, because the reality was, I still hated what I saw. I thought that being small would fix everything I struggled with inside. But it didn't. It actually made things so much worse. Because the entire time I was so hyper-focused on how I looked that I never stopped to do the real work, the mindset work, the healing, the part where I learned how to actually like myself for who I was, not for what my body looked like. I thought that being smaller would bring peace, but instead, I became more anxious, more obsessed, and more insecure, because confidence was never about the weight. It was always about how I treated myself along the way. And that's what we're really talking about today. How to stop waiting for your body to look a certain way before you allow yourself to feel confident, happy, or proud. Because you deserve to feel those things right now, exactly where you are. And this is where so many women get stuck. Once we think the weight is gone, all of the insecurities will magically disappear. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. Because if you haven't done the work on the inside, you just carry those same insecurities into a smaller body. Now, don't get me wrong. It's okay if you want to change your body. It's okay to have aesthetic goals and to look in the mirror and say, I'm proud of how far I've come, but I still want to improve. There's nothing wrong with wanting to feel your best, to feel strong, to lean out, to tone up, because that's not toxic and it's not shameful. It's simply having a goal. But where we get stuck, where so many women get trapped, is thinking that we have to hate ourselves in order to get there. We tell ourselves, I'll love myself once I lose weight. I'll feel good once I hit my goal size. I'll be confident once I fix all of these things that I don't like about myself. But confidence isn't something you unlock at a certain weight. It's something you create by how you show up for yourself daily. Because confidence isn't about becoming smaller. It's about becoming more connected to who you are, more grounded, and more proud of how you take care of yourself. And more focused on how you feel, not just how you look. And I think a big reason why so many of us struggle with this is because of what we see every single day on social media. We scroll and we see these perfectly posed bodies, tiny waists, glowing skin, abs popping, and a full glute shelf, flawless lighting, and we start to believe that that is what normal is. And we start to think that we're supposed to look like that in order to feel confident. And I need you to sit here and hear this part. Social media is not real life. I've done the photo shoots. I know the lighting. I know the angles. I know how to pose to make my waist look smaller and my glutes look fuller. And I know the difference between my posed body and my relaxed body. And I also know that sometimes, even after all of that, people still throw filters, editing apps, body smoothing, waist shrinking, skin blurring, you name it. The version of someone that you're seeing online might not even exist in real life. It's curated, it's staged, it's filtered, it's lighting, posing, angles, and editing all working together to sell you a version of perfection that nobody can maintain 24/7. And yet we sit here comparing our real, raw, unedited bodies to somebody's highlight reel. And that comparison starts to chip away at your confidence, slowly and quietly. And you start thinking, why don't I look like that? Why isn't my body doing that? Why isn't my stomach that flat? But you forget that you're comparing your relaxed, bloated, real life body at 6 p.m. after a full day of eating and living to somebody else's posed, fasted, professionally lit, edited version of themselves. And that's not a fair fight. So I always tell my clients, you have to protect your mind and you have to be so intentional about what you consume. Unfollow anyone who makes you feel less than. Unfollow anyone who triggers your insecurities. And you need to follow people who remind you that bodies are meant to fluctuate, that cellulite, rolls, softness, they're all normal. And that healing your body image isn't about chasing a flawless body. It's about making peace with the one that you live in every single day. Because you deserve to feel confident in your real body, the one that carries you, shows up for you, heals, moves, and allows you to live your life. Because that is the body that actually matters. And I used to believe that wanting to change meant I had to hate where I was. And I thought that if I allowed myself to feel comfortable or even okay with my body, I'd lose all motivation. Like the only way to stay driven was to constantly pick myself apart and focus on everything that I didn't like. I believe that if I wasn't frustrated, I wouldn't have the discipline to keep going. And I know that sounds so silly to say out loud, but it was true. But that mentality just kept me stuck in this exhausting cycle of self criticism, and I was never satisfied, no matter how much progress I made. And honestly, it's draining. When you're constantly operating from a place of frustration and self hate, you might push a little hard for a while, but it's never sustainable. And eventually, you burn out and you start resetting the process. You associate health with punishment, and before you know it, you're back at square one. And when you're coming from a place of respect for your body, and when you're truly taking care of yourself because you want to, not because you feel like you have to, that is where everything changes. You fuel your body better because you want to feel good, not because you're afraid of gaining weight. You move your body constantly because it helps you feel strong and energized, not because you're punishing yourself for what you ate. You stay committed long term because the process becomes something you enjoy rather than something you dread. And you stop obsessing over perfection because your choices are no longer coming from shame. They're coming from care, from love, and from wanting to see yourself thrive. When your motivation is rooted in respect and kindness towards yourself, it's so much more stable. And you don't need to be perfect because your goal isn't to punish yourself into progress. It's to take care of yourself through all seasons. And that's the difference between short term results and a lifelong change. And this is where I want you to shift your perspective. Because so many of us have this warped idea of what confidence should look like. We think that it's finally fitting into the smallest jeans we own, or seeing a certain number on the scale, or being able to post a bikini picture without over-analyzing every angle. But real confidence isn't any of that. Real confidence is getting dressed in the morning without the mental war in your head. It's looking in the mirror and seeing your body as something you care for, not for something you need to fix. It's being able to enjoy a meal out with friends without spiraling into guilt or feeling like you need to restrict the next day to make up for it. It's booking the trip, wearing the bikini, getting in the photo, even when you don't feel perfect. And it's allowing yourself to live fully without constantly thinking you need to shrink yourself to be worthy of happiness. Real confidence is so much quieter than we think. It's not loud, and it's not screaming for validation. It's calm knowing that you're taking care of yourself, that you trust yourself, and that you don't have to earn your own love by achieving some insane goal. And yes, you still have days where you feel bloated, or your jeans feel a little tighter, or you don't love what you see. This is completely normal. Confidence doesn't mean that you'll never have insecure moments. It just means that you don't let those moments control you anymore, and you don't let them stop you from showing up for your life. And it's being able to say, even if I'm not where I want to be yet, I can still feel good now, and I can still celebrate myself now. And that's what we're building here. Not just fat loss, not just a transformation photo, but that deep, stable kind of confidence that follows you through every season of your life, no matter what the scale says. Now, I want to get a little practical with you, because I know it can feel so hard to start building confidence when you're still in the process. So I'm going to share some of the actual things that I did to help me shift from constantly picking myself apart to feeling confident and proud, even when my body wasn't there yet. I stopped waiting for permission to feel good. I realized I was always just delaying my own happiness. When I lose 5 kilos, when I get smaller, when I fit into those jeans. But one day I caught myself and thought, what if I just chose to feel proud now? I started celebrating the fact that I was showing up, tracking my food, getting my steps in, doing my workouts, even when the scale wasn't moving yet. And I stopped attaching my confidence to a number and started attaching it to my effort. I practiced neutral self-talk, not fake positivity. When I didn't feel like I could say I love my body, I didn't force it. Instead, I'd say, this is my body today. It's carrying me through this workout. It's healing, it's strong, and it's adapting. That neutral language stopped me from spiraling and allowed me to slowly soften my inner voice. And over time, that neutral turned into kindness. I wore the clothes I wanted before I felt ready. I used to avoid shorts, crop tops, or anything that made me feel exposed. The more I avoided them, the more power they held. So I just started wearing them, even when I felt uncomfortable at first. And you know what happened? My body didn't change overnight, but my confidence did. I stopped obsessing because I stopped hiding, and eventually, it just became normal. I curated my social media feed ruthlessly. I unfollowed accounts that triggered my insecurities. I followed women who showed their bodies in every season: bloating, cellulite, skin texture, relaxed poses. The more I saw normal bodies, the less critical I became of my own. I focused on strength, not size. The gym was huge for me. Instead of obsessing over fat loss, I shifted my focus to getting stronger. How much I could lift, how far I could run, how consistent I could be. The stronger I got, the more respect I had for my body, because it wasn't just about how it looked, it was about what it could do. I allowed myself to have both goals and grace. I still had fat loss goals. I still tracked my food. I still had structure. But I also let myself live. I ate meals out. I had dessert. I enjoyed holidays. And I learned that I could hold both discipline and freedom at the same time. Because remember, this is a health journey. This is something that you need to look for the rest of your life, not something that you just do for 6 or 8 or 12 weeks. So you need to enjoy the process. I learned that balance built my confidence more than any diet ever could. And the truth is, confidence doesn't magically arrive when you reach your goal. You practice it along the way. Every small decision you make to show up, to be kind to yourself, to celebrate your progress, even when you're not there yet, that is how you build it. And I know that it can feel exhausting at times. This whole journey, the fat loss, the mindset work, the healing your relationship with food, with your body, with yourself. I know how heavy it can feel. And it's easy to fall into that I'm not there yet headspace. But here's what I need you to hear. You're allowed to feel proud of yourself right now. Not when you lose 5 more kilos. Not when your stomach leans out. Not when you fit into that one pair of jeans. Now. Right now, today. Because confidence is built in the showing up. In the quiet, boring, daily things that you do that no one sees. But that you know that you're doing. And here's a few more things that I wish I knew earlier. You need to stop chasing motivation. You need to build discipline. You're not always going to feel motivated, and you won't always feel excited. But if you keep waiting for motivation, you never build consistency. Learning to do the small things even when you don't feel like it, that is where your confidence grows. And progress isn't always linear. And that's actually not a bad thing. Your body will fluctuate. The scale will go up and down. You'll have seasons where everything clicks and seasons where everything feels slow. Don't make those moments mean anything about your worth. You don't need to earn rest. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is sleep, hydrate, take a walk, and give your body space to recover. Resting is part of the process, not a break from it. Start acting like the version you want to become. Not next month, not next year. Start making choices today that your future self will thank you for. And that doesn't mean being perfect. It means thinking, what would the strongest, healthiest, happiest version of me do at this moment? Because you're already becoming her. You're learning how to build a lifestyle that actually works for you, and that doesn't happen overnight. So if you've been feeling stuck, just know that I've been there too. And the only reason I made it through those plateaus, the body image struggles, the self-sabotage, is because I didn't quit. I pivoted, I reflected, and I trusted the process. And I let my habits carry me when my motivation didn't. And I want that for you. If you're loving these episodes, please share it with a friend who needs to hear it, or leave me a review. It honestly means the world to me. And if you're ready for real guidance, accountability, and a coaching space where we work on both your body and your mindset, my one-on-one coaching spots are open now. The link is in the show notes below, or you can just DM me coaching on Instagram and we'll chat. You've got this, and I will see you in the next episode.